أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب الله العالمين أبي القاسم مصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم. Hello everyone and welcome to the last week of Tadabbur on the Quran. Today we're going to have two chapters, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas. These two chapters are famous as Mu'awwazatain, which means seeking refuge, because the topic of these two chapters is introducing a refuge for people, because people were seeking refuge. They have needs to find a refuge because there were many situations that they were confronted with harm, hurt, evil things, and stuff like that, and they needed a power to protect them, and they needed that refuge to protect them and repel all of those harms and dangers. Uh, God sent down these two chapters to introduce a refuge, that people in any situation, when they are insecure, when they have a difficult situation, when there is any harm, any danger, any evil that they are dealing with, they can take this refuge and repel all of those harms and evils. So the main topic of these two chapters are introducing a refuge. We're gonna start reading them to be familiar with that refuge, to know who is that refuge, who can protect us in any kind of this difficult situation. First, we are gonna read Surah Al-Falaq, which is a short chapter, and it has only one paragraph. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul a'udhu. Say, I seek refuge. This is talking to the Prophet, and this is a command to the Prophet. It's directly from God talking to the Prophet and telling the Prophet, say something. Say what? I seek refuge. I seek refuge, which means the Prophet should say, I, as a prophet, as a perfect human, as the most perfect human on the earth. I seek refuge. It means even if I am a prophet, even if I am a perfect human, I still need refuge. And I have to seek a refuge. If prophet's saying something like this, then it's obviously that this is obvious that we have to seek refuge in the same way. If the prophet, as a perfect human, as the most perfect human on the earth, he seeks refuge in this way, then we have to take this way. Well, it means on those days and even now, people believe that they can have other refuge, they can have other options to actually stand against any danger or any evil things. But there should be only one way, which is the appropriate way to, which is the appropriate way as a refuge. And God told the prophet that you have to tell people that I seek refuge. This verse could be something like this: Oz برب الفلق, instead of saying قل أعوذ برب الفلق. Okay? Directly, God could tell us that you have to say, we seek refuge. Oz برب الفلق, instead of قل أعوذ. There's a point in this قل, and it means the prophet should say this. The other point about this verse is all of these words in these chapters are valuable. We cannot say only when we learn the concept of this chapter that is enough for us. We don't need to repeat these Arabic words. These Arabic words are valuable and these are important. Of course, we have to learn the concept of this chapter. We have to learn that we need to seek refuge, and God is the only one who is a refuge for us, who is the only power who can protect us and stuff like that. The concept is very important, but other than that, Those Arabic words are also important. And the Prophet is reciting this chapter, and we have to do the same. Every day, early morning, every night when we want to sleep, when we want to start a travel, when we want to start a job, in any situation that we feel insecure, we feel weak or threatened, we have to recite the chapter. Those words are valuable. Of course, the concept is valuable, but also the words are important. These words have impacts on this world because, very similar to the coding and programming in the computer. When you want to code something, all of those words, all of those letters, one by one, are important. If you want to plot something, if you want to show something in the computer, you have to you have to enter all of those letters one by one, and those are very important. If you do not do that, or if you make a mistake during that coding, it's not gonna work. This is the same about this word. And the words, all of our words have impact on the world, have impact on the universe. And God is telling us that if you want to be protected from all of those evil things, you have to recite this chapter. And at the first level, it's talking to the prophet, telling the prophet that you have to say, I seek refuge. And then the rest of these verse, it says, برب الفلق قل أعوذ برب الفلق. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi wa sallam, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak or dawn. Falaq is from falq, which means dividing or like cracking, opening, or like when there is darkness, all everywhere is dark. There is a tiny beam of light at the very early morning that it split the darkness. And that is falaq because it's splitting, dividing, it's opening that darkness. And it's famous as dawn or daybreak or very early morning. And in Arabic, it's falaq. Falaq generally means splitting or dividing. And it's referred to dawn because it's opening the darkness, it's breaking the darkness. So it says that I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak. Why the Lord of the daybreak? This daybreak is a symbol of the knowledge or lightness or guidance or all of these good stuff. Because when it's dark, this darkness is can be a symbol of the lack of knowledge, lack of light, lack of guidance, a lack of anything good. And this darkness is kind of a symbol of evil things. And God is the one who breaks this darkness and bring us light and brings us guidance and brings us knowledge. So He is the Lord of daybreak. He is the one who manage all of these things and break this darkness. I seek refuge in the Lord from what? Seek a refuge or a'uzo. A'uzo is the keyword in this chapter. Everything in this chapter is talking about a'uzo, is talking about seek refuge. So this is a keyword in this chapter. A'uzo has two parts. When we say a'uzo in something, from something, I seek refuge in the Lord from what? At the next verse, it is telling us, "Men sharri ma khalaq," from the evil of whatever he created. This is a general statement, and it's telling us that I seek refuge in the Lord from the evil of whatever he created, from all evil, from all evil creatures. Um, this is a general statement and it's telling us that creatures can have a evil impact on our life. But I have to mention this point briefly that God did not created evil things. Evil things is a concept that it's actually a relative concept that human relative to each other or animal relative to human they can have a evil impact. For example, a snake can have an evil impact for a human, but this is a relative thing. That snake as an animal, it's not generally a evil. Evil things or evil creatures are actually a relative concept, and they can have a evil impact respect to each other. So, as I mentioned, second verse is a general statement, and it's telling us that generally I seek refuge from all evil, from every evil, from everything which is harmful. Then, after these general statements, God mentioned three specific cases. So, after a general statement, then God specified three cases. Why God actually mentioned these three cases? Because it seems that these two verses were enough, and this chapter could be only these two verses. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق. And that is enough. I seek refuge in the Lord from all evil. The point is, people are usually confused between evil and danger and harm. Danger and harm can be those things which have a bad effect on our life, but all dangers and all harms are not equal to evil, and all evils are not equal to danger and harm. For example, someone can have an accident and broke his leg. This is obviously a harm. This is obviously something bad that happened to it. But can we say that it was evil also? No, we cannot say for sure that if something happened to someone and it was harmful, it means that it was also a evil thing. Because even it is possible that accident cause him be away from something evil. For example, because he had that accident, he wasn't able to go to a bad place, a bad party, which some evil things were supposed to happen on that party, and he was in the, for example, hospitalized, and he had a good moment connecting with God. He remembered many bad thing that he did, and many of these kind of example. I don't want to go through all of those examples. This was a very simple example of it. That having an accident, breaking the leg or hand or any kind of this sickness, these are obviously harm, and these are harmful. But these dangers, these harms are not equal with evil. Evil is something which avoid us from goodness, from being in the path of the God. When we are in the path of the God, it means goodness, and we are away from evil. Evil is something which avoid us from the path of the God. And evil and danger or harm are not equal. People are sometimes confused about this concept. And when we say that we need to seek refuge in the Lord to be away from any evil, they might say, no, we are civilized, we are scientists, we can make strong houses to be safe. We can make good cars to be safe. We can actually stand against any dangers from natures and stuff like that. They believe that if they are able to be secure from all of those danger and all of those harms, it means they are protected and they don't need to seek refuge. So God mentioned three specific cases after second verse to tell us that evil is not equal to danger, and there are some evil things that you cannot even see them, you cannot even sense them, and you cannot protect yourself from them. What are those cases? The first one is in the third verse. It says, وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ, and from the evil of any surrounding darkness when it enters. One of the evil that you cannot stand against it is darkness. As I mentioned, darkness does not mean only lack of light when we don't have a electricity when we don't have light bulb, so it means darkness. No, it's not like that. Darkness is a symbol of lacking light, lacking guidance, lacking knowledge. When there is darkness, and this darkness started to cover everything, when it enters and it grows and it covers everything, everywhere is dark and you cannot see anything. You cannot even walk in this darkness. How could you repeal a danger, a harm in this situation when you cannot see anything? Uh, so this is one example of the evil things that people cannot do anything against it. And in this situation, we need to seek refuge. Um, I wanted to mention something about waqab. Waqab means entering, and ghasaq means the darkness when it started when after sunset, and it the darkness covers everything during the night until it become everything dark and everything is in the darkness. This is a symbol of lacking guidance and lacking knowledge and lacking light. And this light bulb and electricity cannot repeal this kind of darkness. This is the absolute darkness when you cannot see anything. When we cannot see anything, of course, we cannot protect ourselves from any evil things which happen during the darkness. So this was one, and this one was the first specific case after the general case. Then at the fourth verse, it is mentioning another specific case, وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ, and from the evil of those who blow on knots. So it seems that this verse is talking about sorcerers, which means those magicians tricks and those people who do magicians tricks and they tie knots and then they blew on them. They blew on the knots as a magician tricks and stuff like that. You probably saw it in the movies. Some interpretation says that nafasat is about women most than more than men, which cannot be accepted. Of course, usually this kind of magicians are by women, but this and te at nafasat is because of the nafas, which is we will see it later that this nafas is about human and jinn and everyone who do this stuff, and that nafas, when we want to have it as a plural form, we need to make it as a female pronoun, sorry, female plural, which is called mu'annas majazi in Arabic. So it's not only about women, it's generally about those blowing on the nuts. And also, it cannot be only about sorcerers and about the magicians. This is a symbol again about blowing on nuts. Blowing on nuts means making trouble for people. When we say that someone make a trouble for me or someone make a knot in my work, in my job, in my life, it means it's a symbol. Actually, making a knot is a symbol. Blowing on knot is a symbol of making trouble for people, making a problem for people in their life, in their economic situation, and all of these things. So, based on this verse, we can see that there are some people who do magician or do other things to make trouble for others. And in this situation, of course, we cannot understand who did this. We cannot understand who is doing these evil things about us. And when we cannot understand who is doing this and what are they doing, we cannot repeal it. We cannot stand against it. We cannot solve that problem. In this situation, we need to seek refuge in the Lord, in the God. And then the third specific case is telling us وَمِن شَرِّ حَسَدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ, and from the evil of any um, envier when he envies. This is about envier's jealousy when someone is jealous and they have an evil eye, they do something. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes it's not on purpose being jealous. Anyway, we cannot understand who is jealous of us. We cannot figure out what they are doing about our life and stuff like that. We cannot understand the impact of their jealousy. And obviously, we cannot repel it. We cannot protect ourselves against this kind of jealousy. In this situation, again, we need to seek refuge in the Lord, in the God. So these five verses together as a review, it starts with a command to the prophet. God told the prophet directly, say something, قول, say something. What should I say? I seek refuge. I, as a prophet, as the most perfect human on the earth, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak because he is the one who brought us the light. He is the one who cleaves apart the darkness, and he is the one who opens the darkness. And I seek refuge in the Lord from all evil. This is a general statement. Then, after that general statement, God mentioned three specific cases to tell us that evil is not equal to danger. Evil are those things which you cannot understand them, you cannot recognize them, and I am the only one who can protect you against all of those evil things. The first one is the surrounding darkness. When you cannot see anything, you have no knowledge on that situation, you have no guidance on that situation. In this situation, I am the only one who can protect you. And also, when there are some people who blows on nuts for you, which means making trouble in our life. It may be through all of those magicians and stuff like that, or making other problems for us. We cannot recognize them. So God is the only one who protect us. And the third case is about the jealousy and envier people which we don't know them. And when we don't know them, it means we cannot protect ourselves against them. These chapters, as I mentioned, was sent down to the prophet in a situation that people need a refuge. People were seeking refuge and they went to different ways, and they may even went to a very wrong direction. For example, they may go to those magicians to write something for them to protect them against all of those evil. Um, for example, when they read some of those words on the paper and putting some stars and stuff like that on it and telling people that this can help you and protect you. People were going to these different directions and wrong ways to find a refuge. So God sent down this chapter to the prophet to tell people that you have to seek refuge in the Lord, in the God. And it was directly talking to the prophet because prophet is the link between God as a teacher with people. Prophet is the link, and people are looking at him, and whatever that he is doing, he is trying, and the people are trying to follow him. And God told him that you have to say people that I seek refuge in the Lord, and they have to do the same. And the main point that this chapter wanted to emphasize on it was the need to take refuge in God from the evil of his creature. God mentioned three specific cases after a general statement to distinguish danger from evil. To emphasize on this point that evils are something that you cannot recognize them, you cannot detect them, and obviously you cannot protect yourself with civilizations and with all of this technology and stuff like that. You cannot protect yourself against those evils, and we need to take refuge in God. So this was the first chapter for today. I'm going to stop recording, and if you have any questions,